Welcome to the November 26th, 2019 episode of Reactive Consciousness, our in-depth podcast about what happened this week in our lives. I'm your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And another excuse to talk to one of my best friends.
Oh, we have another guest coming on?
Oh, wait. No, I'm here with Lotus. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
This is awkward.
Yeah.
I thought I called my mom.
We only keep this podcast going to keep the fans thinking that we're friends, but we've been deadly enemies for years. No one must know.
We're like Abbott and Costello. We're secretly feuding behind the scenes. We're only in it for the money.
Were they really?
Oh yeah. They hated each other.
Oh wow. No, I was thinking the Marx Brothers and Margaret Dumont, because did you know who she was?
No.
She was like the older woman who would appear in their movies, and like the joke is that she would always be like deadpan, like fuck, these guys are not funny, and like that was the joke. But she really genuinely was not amused by their shit at all ever, and like apparently threatened to quit at one point. And they're like, no, like the reason you hate us is exactly what makes this so funny.
Can you imagine paying somebody that is an active critic of you to be your active critic?
If you watch some of the scenes with her in them, like there are moments where like you could tell she's acting unamused, but like if you look closely, there are times where like, nah, she's not having fun right now.
Yeah. No. I guess I just don't have enough to be thankful for right now. With all this Thanksgiving coming up, I don't know what to do.
I would say wait a few days for Thanksgiving to happen and cross that bridge when you come to it.
How would you cross it before you came to it?
I said when you come to it.
But how would you?
Walking. I don't know.
Oh.
So this week...
Oh. Yeah. All right, so this week, meanwhile...
Awkward.
Oh, man. If I could bottle this, I would throw it out.
Nice.
So, Sega ages Final Fantasy... Not Final Fantasy Zone. Fantasy Zone.
Yeah, this is regular Fantasy Zone.
Welcome to my Fantasy Zone.
That's right. That always sounded weird to me.
Because it's supposed to.
Like, the ship owns the Fantasy Zone? Or some mysterious voice owns the Fantasy Zone? I don't know.
No,
it's my
that
Sega
was a
Master
Bayonetta
System game.
reference.
I own it.
My Fantasy Zone is a Bayonetta reference.
Oh, that's right. The real thing was Welcome to, like, the Fantasy Zone or something?
Yeah, welcome. The real one makes perfect sense because you're in the Fantasy Zone.
Okay, yeah, Bayonetta said my thing.
And
that's right.
That's actually a Space Harrier quote.
I know, that whole level is... That's right, yeah, and the Bayonetta level was a not Space Harrier level.
Yeah.
Where you get, like, 1 million rings if you kill everything. 1 million. It's
a
fucking
million.
insane.
1 million
That's
rings.
one of those things that sounded like an internet rumor, but then I saw a video, I'm like, welp.
Well, it turns out that Sega Ages Final... Why do I keep wanting to... Man, it's reflexive. Yeah. But Fantasy Zone...
Reflexive, so myself Fantasy Zone?
No, I keep almost saying Final Fantasy Zone.
Yeah, but if it were reflexive, you would say, welcome to myself Fantasy Zone. Huh? You like that? A little English joke for you.
I am so done with you. You will only get 1/12 of the residuals.
Okay.
1/12, I say.
Not even a halfpenny.
The rest are mine, see? We have enough for syndication.
Jeez.
Writing you out. Writing you right out.
I'll just put in a cardboard cutout of you for reruns. It'll be fine.
That I believe.
It's like The Simpsons where they replaced the radio DJs with like whatever the hell it was called, like the DJ Tron 3000 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it has all sorts of functions. And you press a button. Wow. Congress sore messed up today, didn't it? Wow, how does it keep up with the times like that? It's the funniest shit ever.
That's really funny. But yeah, seriously, We actually didn't know that Fantasy Zone Sega Ages was going to be coming so soon. They announced a launch date for the Japanese version, which means the American version is not far behind, and the European. So that is going to be November 28th. So this is poised to be the best version. What? I'm sorry?
Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So this is poised to be the best version of Fantasy Zone ever released. So I'm very happy. It's a great game. I've described the features of this one in the past, but basically, if you haven't played this one, it's a shmups very similar to Defender. That
it's tough.
It's very tough, but it's a lot of fun. It's very charming. I really like it.
What's cool about it is that as you play, enemies drop cash, and I think maybe I forgot if it was just once per level or if you could do it a couple times. But there's a shop that you can go to, and you can buy whatever you can afford, like upgrades or lives or whatever. But they're pretty costly, and as you buy them, the next time you buy them, they're more expensive, and power-ups tend to go away after 30 seconds or a minute or whatever, so spend your money wisely. And there are straight up bosses at the end of levels, and then you go to the next level.
They're very elaborate and well animated too. It's a damn good looking game, and I actually first played this on the Sega Game Gear. Believe it or not, when I was having my appendix removed.
Well,
like during the surgery. No.
Yeah. Wow. What a badass.
No, during my recovery, I had what they thought was appendicitis in the 5th grade, and my brother's good friend actually brought me his Game Gear and all the games that he had with it, just so I could stay busy.
Did you have appendicitis?
I did not.
The gall of these people.
I also had my gallbladder removed at age 23.
Yeah, you like that little segue there?
No, I didn't like having my my organs removed.
My clever joke.
It wasn't funny to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I can't believe I had the gall to make
Somewhere there's a homunculus being constructed out of my spare organs.
Oh no. It's like the ship of Theseus. Like if all of Vice's parts are removed and replaced, is it still the same Vice? And what about the human made by his spare parts? Is that Vice as well? I don't know.
There's actually this bit. It's actually probably what I consider the funniest part of the game is in Monkey Island 4, which is like the 3D one.
Okay.
Well, the first 3D one, I guess. The one that was on PS2, you know.
Okay. And Escape was it Escape from
Escape? Yes, is the 4th one.
Okay.
Yeah. So there is this the shop that you could go to, and one of the puzzles is you have to like get the right thing from the shop, and it has like a like card catalog system that you know is. You have to do all these different combinations, and if you get the wrong thing on purpose, or you know you've just been getting it, you're actually in a prosthesis shop.
Oh no!
You know, like because it's pirate themed. You know, they have hooks and peg legs. Yeah. But they have prosthesis for like things that you would never have a prosthesis for, like an appendix. So you can get 4 different things that are like that, like a prosthetic, you know, a gallbladder prosthetic, you know,
nice.
Like all this prosthetic wisdom teeth, like it's just crazy stuff. And you can't do anything with like the wrong ones that that you receive, except if you have all 4 of them. You can combine them and make them into an inhumane abomination, and it's just like this hopping, like gesticulating thing made out of fake organs. It's just really funny. I love it. But yeah, it's just like a funny joke that like you may not encounter unless you have like the gall like to get it all. Yeah. But anyway, I'm really looking forward to this, as well as the one that's coming shortly after it. It's like the original Shinobi. We talked about that in the past.
That's exciting. You know, the first time I played Fantasy Zone was probably Yakuza 0.
Oh yeah.
And like to get the little point thing for it to get the little perk. I forgot what it was. You had to get like 100,000 points in it, I think. It was either 50 or 100. But either way, not easy.
Yeah. Well, it is a tough game,
I looked up a
admittedly.
walkthrough for fucking Fantasy Zone to figure out how to like
It's a tough
best
game.
get through the levels.
It's a tough game, but you know what? It's better as a home release because it's hard. Once you get the hang of it, it's actually like very rewarding as well.
It
So
is.
I really enjoyed this title. So and I also enjoy that a lot of these Sega Ages releases recently have been their arcade releases, which
That's
you
great.
know haven't really had as much love as the Genesis versions of their games. So even like the arcade version of Altered Beast has never been released. I don't think.
My
Only the
memory's
Genesis version.
Well, I was gonna say my memory's hazy on this one. Like it might have been released on Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, but I'm not 100% on that because I know that collection had like both versions of some game or maybe two of them, but like not others. So like it's been a while. I'm not 100%.
Well, their arcade releases, nonetheless, are pretty spotty. I mean, they didn't do arcade perfect ports until like the 32X and the Saturn.
Yeah.
So, and even then, they only really did the Yu Suzuki ones, like Outrun and
Yeah.
and Super Hang On and things like that. So it's really cool to be seeing like Columns 2, Ichidan R, and even Shinobi and Fantasy Zone don't get as much love as some of the other ones that they frequently release. So, and especially the Sega Ages treatment where they go in and they add stuff, and add features and add content to games that are about as old as we are. 30-year-old games, up to 35-year-old games here. So I really love these releases, even if the game isn't like super interesting to me. Like Columns 2 is probably the one that I was least interested in, but I still bought it anyway because it's cool. I love all these releases. They're lovingly crafted and all this other stuff. So can't wait for that. So definitely look out for that and Shinobi later on. Hopefully they even release like the arcade version of Shadow Dancer, which I don't think has ever.
I didn't know that was a thing. I've only ever seen that on collections like PS2 collections or whatever.
Yeah, so there's an arcade and Genesis version of Shadow Dancer, and they're completely different.
I've only ever seen the Genesis version. I only ever knew about the Genesis version.
Yeah, they're completely unique games. Like the Genesis version is not really a port.
So that actually plays very well into the Shinobi games, where you never know what the hell any game is in that series.
Shadow Dancer is supposed to be the second Shinobi game, but then they made Return of Shinobi, which some people call that Shinobi 2 because Shinobi 3 comes out later.
Yeah.
But it's really the Japanese version is Super Shinobi, so the numbering is irrelevant.
Yeah.
And Shinobi 3 is Super Shinobi 2. So
Shinobi 3 is so good, by the way.
Shinobi Revenge of Shinobi and Shinobi 3 are the crown jewels of both. I love them both. Especially the music of Revenge of Shinobi. I love it.
Yeah, we got Yuzo Koshiro on Revenge of Shinobi, and it was somebody else for Shinobi 3, but both
Shinobi
soundtracks
3
are
is
so
really good.
Yeah, Shinobi 3's soundtrack is still brilliant.
Yeah, no, they're both fantastic games, and you won't do wrong. I don't like it when 3 gets into the maze.
I was actually going to mention that. That was some bullshit. But that's also like the last...
Every platformer.
Well, yeah, but when it's a full-on like maze with traps and everything, that's the last level in the game before the final boss. But it still sucks.
It drags on. It's easily the longest level because of frustration, not because like it's an actual like challenge.
And there's also the elevator level where you have to just guess which path is correct and which leads into a crushing ceiling that just kills you. That's bullshit too, and that's way earlier in the game.
Yeah, no. But the rest of it is fantastic. Don't let us put you off.
The levels that play like they're supposed to are freaking great.
Yeah. Well, moving on from that, we actually have some pretty surprising news. Like, somebody came out with a homebrew ROM for New Super Mario Land. Did you see this week?
Yeah, I saw like it's basically Super Mario Land if they had made a console version of it. And one thing I noticed in particular was that it had pretty cool 3D looking water effects, which are pretty great. You could just let the game sit for a little bit.
Yeah, so this is the Super Mario Land, the original Game Boy game remade with similar graphics to the new Super Mario Brothers sub-series, which is pretty cool. Um, it was done using the Nintendo Power architecture, which was a not the Nintendo Power you're thinking of, the magazine, but a download service that was available in Japan for the Super Famicom. So, yeah, it's apparently pretty neat. People are liking it a lot. So, I would be pretty excited to play this on some real hardware. Looks like the creator of it even did some interviews here as well. So, it's pretty cool. Is this something that would interest you?
For like it is extremely rare for me to chase after homebrew games, so like in this case not really. It's just cool on principle.
I give this one a pass. Usually I don't. I'm not big on too many homebrew games, but I do like it when they remake a game in another style.
Yeah, like I
Sometimes.
was I was kind of interested, even though I don't play Metroid games. I was kind of interested in the another Metroid remake project
Oh
because,
yeah, that's too
but
good.
that came out before the official version came out. So it's like, oh, a way of doing like the old game but with Super Nintendo style. Like I never actually played it myself because like again I don't really get into that, but I was actually kind of more interested in that.
Yeah, AM2R actually kicks the pants off of the official
How embarrassing.
remake. Yeah, the official remake is pretty good. Like I like it, and it has one standout really cool moment in it. That I really really like. They added a new boss. That was really good. And it was very creative, but the another Metroid 2 remake like took years to make, like many more years than the Revenge of Samus, I think is what it was called.
Return, I
At
think.
a Return of Samus, and it it was like lovingly crafted. It was beautiful. They really should have paid the guy some money to release it. Like it, yeah, officially. It's that good. It's still getting updates to this day, and they
Nice.
keep adding features to it. So really cool stuff. But this one, I is definitely on my radar. So moving on from that, Team 17, the makers of Worms Armageddon, and also Yuko's
Oh, Island Express.
Island Express. Yeah, that's it. Um, they're a really cool team. They're making They announced that they are making a roguelike run and gun called Neon Abyss that I'm pretty excited about. Did you see anything on that?
Nah, I just saw the title.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It just looks like they kind of made like a almost Enter the Gungeon-y kind of thing that's a run and gun game instead of an overhead game. So it looks really cool. I'm sure it's hard as balls, but I think that's really cool. Team 17 makes good stuff, so I'm not worried that it will be good. They've also made a lot of really good um, releases in the past few years. Like they've had the Overcooked games, which have been big hits.
Oh, I didn't realize it was
Um,
them.
yeah, yeah. So they've been making some good stuff. They made the newest ukulele game as well. They made both ukulele games, so maybe not the first one, but the second one. But yeah, yeah, really cool stuff. I'm looking forward to that. Let's move on. So, for all of my ranting, this is how this turns out. The Darius Cosmic Collection is getting a physical worldwide release from Strictly Limited Games. This surprised the hell out of me. I did not expect this. So the Darius Cosmic Collection famously was Japan and physical only for like a whole year. Um, and has kind of a crazy release in that it 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 had like an extra game that it had two different versions. One that had like twice as many games on it as the other one, and then a still more limited version that you could order from Amazon that gave you an extra code for another game. So like it's just like famously convoluted and obtuse in order to buy this, and now it's actually like accessible. You could buy it digitally on the Japanese Switch shop. You can't buy the extra Amazon game, but honestly, it was a Game Boy port of Darius 2. If you really want that, you can track that down, I'm sure. But really cool, and they're releasing it with all like English, with a lot of the same really cool stuff that came with the Japanese version. So they have like plastic marquees and stuff that look like the arcade. Just like really neat stuff. A really neat hardbound art book. Really looking forward to this. Fortunately, I do not need to buy this for Switch again. I might buy it for PS4, and I probably won't end up getting. They have like a special edition with all the feelies and stuff like that. Since I pretty much have the feelies, I might just go for a physical PS4 copy because it'd be nice to have it for PS4. But I'm very surprised that this is even a thing. I guess I shouldn't be, but like just with the history of it, I guess it surprises me. I might if this is like a thing that they're going to carry through, I might even cancel my Space Invaders collection that I have reserved through Japanese Amazon. So I don't know. It's just one of those things that thankfully we don't have to import very much anymore, which is a really good thing. I don't really have much of the buyer's remorse or anything like that because at the time, I didn't have any other knowledge of this kind of stuff. But and I really like the package that I got. But it's really cool that other people will be able to buy it. So I'm looking forward to that. There has been a new release of Groove Coaster. I don't know if you checked this out.
Nope.
So do you know anything about Groove Coaster at all?
I do not.
So Groove Coaster is a really cool rhythm game that started out on the iPad. This was like one of the killer apps for the iPad when I got my iPad 3, and I really liked it. But it's gotten to the point where my iPad 3 is practically useless. They barely update it anymore, and like the new firmwares just slow it down to hell. So it's really nice that they have released a version of this game on the iPad. Or on the Switch. There is a PC version of Groove Coaster as well as an arcade version of it now, so it is much more mainstream than it started out being. So that's great, but this looks really cool. I am pretty sure that it still has the same a similar interface as the originals, in that it's a touchscreen based one. You tap the screen along with the beat and also do like squiggle lines on certain things. So really a lot of fun. I really love this series, and it's another Taito release. So I'm really interested in taking a look at this. It's expensive though. It's like $60, so I might wait for a sale. But it's really cool that it exists. Really cool stuff. Moving on. This was the big news of last week, and we recorded too early for it. But Valve announced that they are indeed releasing a game, which
yeah, I still call April Fools.
This surprised the shit out of me, but and a Half-Life game at that, which is even more surprising.
Yeah, that's what actually kind of irritates me, because it's like they're finally doing a Half-Life thing, and it's still not Half-Life 3.
Yeah, not only that, but there's a pretty big gate
Yeah,
into
it is
enjoying it.
prohibitively expensive. Yeah, you need
Uh,
like a incredible computer and like a fucking $600-700 Vive or whatever.
yeah, I was just gonna say, this is Half-Life Alyx. It is a VR exclusive. I kind of thought that they were going to, make this a VR one if they were to ever do it, or another entry into it, because this is something that the company's really into. It's into a newer, unique experience. This you play as Alyx, of course, who is your partner in the Half-Life 2 series of games. With Episode 1 and 2 as well.
I want it to be like I mean, like Half-Life doesn't have cutscenes, but like the dialogue moments.
Yeah.
I want it to be the dialogue moments from Half-Life 2 where you're talking from a first-person view and Gordon just fucking stares at you and then just does whatever he's gotta do. Yeah. Could you go pull that switch for me, Gordon? And he just silently runs off and does it. It's like, this is weird.
And then he keeps hitting the button on the microwave and exploding the food in there.
Stop it. Here, Gordon, you play catch with dog, and you just sit back and watch the gameplay itself.
But seriously, the Half-Life series of games and the side games, even Portal and Portal 2, are some of my favorite games. I really, really love them. I've played Half-Life 1 probably more. I've probably beaten that game more than any other game that I've that has been like like an arcade style game. So I was a huge fan of the original Half-Life and Half-Life 2. I huge fan of this series, and I'm excited, but also it's very prohibitively expensive. They thankfully are allowing you to use a wide variety of VR
Yeah, but not
headsets.
including PSVR, which is easily the cheapest one.
Yeah, no, they haven't announced a console version, so PSVR is out.
I mean, maybe it'll get ported later, because like the Half-Life games have always been ported, but right now there's no mention of that.
Yeah, and it's a shame too, because I'm sure it will, like, the game will sing on PC. Like it'll look great. It'll be probably the best VR experience you'll ever have. But I looked into getting a Vive Pro, which is their top of the line one. It is like $1,400
Yeah,
to get like the whole thing.
Fuck off! Yeah, I'm not doing that.
$1,400. It's more expensive than any of the equipment that I have already.
Yeah, and speaking of any of the equipment you have, like, what about the computer you'll need to run that shit? Like, have fun with that too.
Well, I thankfully do have one, but
the point is, you still would have to pay for that.
Yeah, I mean, when I built my PC, many years ago. At this point, it's over 5 years ago. I spent like almost $3,000 on it, and I've upgraded it to have a 1080 Ti, so it has a hefty graphics card for now, even still. So my computer's no slouch, but like I still won't be able to buy this. It stinks. And I get them wanting to create, a really great VR experience. It looks really neat with the hands on screen to manipulate objects and all that kind of stuff. I think that looks really, really cool. But I'm trying to find out who, like, there are very few people that can even have access to this game. Even if they wanted to. Like, I want to have access to this, but I don't have $1,400 to spend on something that's a complete luxury. The PSVR is very reasonable. I think, for around $200 you can have a really good, not as good as the Vive, but a very good VR experience, and that's the reason why it is probably the most popular VR platform right now. It's easy to get into. You already have the hardware. I mean, a lot of people already do, and even a lot of people already had Move controllers from when they discounted them, like way back when on the PS3. I know I did.
I jumped on that.
Yeah, well, it's how could you have known?
Well, that's the thing. Like, the
Yeah,
only thing that Move was available for was stuff that didn't require it or stuff that I didn't care about.
yeah.
Like Dead Space Extraction, it's just a controller, it's fine. But
Time
like,
Crisis. Yeah.
uh, yeah, that is one thing I have not yet tried Time Crisis 4. Like that stuff would
Time
be good with a
Crisis,
Move
Crisis
controller.
Zone.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Crisis Zone, same thing. That would be good with a Move controller, but otherwise, like Kung Fu Rider, give or take, or like little gimmicky games like
sure.
like that Magic Spellbook one. I forgot what it's called. Like I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, overall the move experience was pretty decent on its own, but short-lived. But it had good content. But I was much happier when I found out that hey, the PSVR will work with the same one. So
Actually, do the PS4 Move controllers? Well, actually, is there even such thing? Are the PS3 and 4
no,
Move
they're the
controllers the
same.
same? They're all the same.
Hmm.
Okay, okay,
They're the same.
okay.
But I I'm excited for this, but also I have a little bit of the like I'm like gritting my teeth at it, like, and not only that, but like the vast majority of Valve or Steam users, they did like an audit recently. The vast majority of Valve users, Steam users can't even have the computer for this kind
Well,
of
no
thing. So
shit. Like that's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. It's a shame. It's cool, but it's a shame. I'll gladly, go someplace maybe that I could play it, like like a store that has it or something. I don't know, like a place that has VR helmets. But Jesus,
I'll
fourteen
just watch
hundred
a fucking
dollars.
YouTube video. Fuck that.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
even if I
exactly.
went to the store, because there actually is one within driving distance of me, but like, I'm not gonna beat the game. There's no way.
Oh, depends on how short it is.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be short enough that I could beat it in like an hour. There's no way.
Yeah. Very true. But still cool nonetheless. Maybe it's even like its true purpose is to tease Half-Life 3, get interest going, because it has been a really long time since the last Half-Life
Yeah,
game. I
it's
think
been two console generations.
it's been 15 years.
Yeah.
The 15 years since Half-Life 2,
Yeah,
not
Half-Life
episode
2
2.
was the start of Steam.
Yeah, it was. And it's even been a long time since Portal 2.
Yeah, Portal 2 was the PS3 360 era.
Yeah, so that was the final, like,
Yeah, Half-Life universe
Half-Life
game.
universe
Yeah.
game, yeah. And all of them have been fantastic, and I can kind of understand why they tiptoe around this series now, because everything is so good. They want to make sure it is really good and worth it. But Jesus, this is tough, especially for a long-term fan. I'm not gonna have access to the newest entry in one of my favorite, most anticipated series, and I'm never going to. Like, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Like, I spend a lot of money on video games. I spend a lot of money on this hobby, but $1,400 all in one go
Yeah, for a fucking
for
headset? Fuck
for a
you. Yeah.
headset that I'm not gonna use with every game.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you could play your 2 hour long VR experience, and now what do?
Yeah, exactly. I
Buy
mean,
some other like
it's
45-minute VR experience.
it's really cool, but like some people don't even have the right like room set up for this kind of thing
Exactly. Like
too.
that's why I like the PSVR. Like you said, it's way cheaper, and all the games for it are like $20.
Yeah, it's a shame. And they're good experiences too. They're a lot of fun. I'm like I said, this is controversial, and I'm sure everybody's saying the same shit I am.
So it's not
I'm not saying
controversial.
anything new. No, but like I'm sure this is controversial to everyone, not just me, but not my opinion. But
Okay.
it just kind of stinks. I'm sure a lot of people are talking about how it stinks that they'll never get a chance to play this. But moving on from that, I don't have much else to say. How about you, Lotus, on that one?
Nope.
Okay. Limited Run Games announced a quintuple vinyl release for Tetris Effect, which was a PSVR release that was quite
Well, it was PSVR
great.
compatible.
Yeah, but that's like the way to play it,
No,
apparently.
I know, but
Yeah.
it's like, Resident Evil 7's a VR release, but like if you want it to be,
Yeah, yeah. This is one of the largest vinyl collections for a single game. I don't think there is anything that tops it. There,
Yeah, the biggest thing I
Cuphead
could think of was Cuphead, which was 4.
4. Yeah,
And
this is great.
Persona 5 was like 2 or 3 maybe.
Yeah, no, it was up there. It was up there. But this looks fantastic. I mean, I wish I could justify to purchase it. I mean, it's really cool, and maybe I might even regret not buying this. But I've just been slowing down on buying. Like I'm saving up for a house. I'm saving up for a wedding. So buying Tetris Effect vinyls is low
Clearly,
on my
it's like
priority
number
list.
3 on the list. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But I thought it looked really cool, though. They are releasing a special edition of the actual game, and a lot of people were bitching about that because like it is a game that is very very much easy to find physically already.
Yeah, Limited Run's been doing that lately. Like, not with games that are already out right now, but like those Star Wars games. Like, they released an N64 cartridge of Shadows of the Empire. It's like,
Yeah,
dude, that's like $7 in a fucking retro store. Like, why are you doing this for the
Lion
packaging?
King and Aladdin. That was another one.
Yeah, even seeing that on store shelves is like for $30 is like even regular retail. It's like I don't want to pay $30 for Lion King and Aladdin on
Uh,
Genesis.
I mean, Aladdin was literally the third most common game on the system.
Well, that's what I'm
Literally.
saying. Like, it's
Yeah.
just like I get that it's cheaper than buying a Genesis again, but like paying $30 for like a 25-year-old Genesis game, like I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, you could get a full original copy of that with the manual and case, no problem,
Well, I
real
mean,
easily.
yeah, but like I mean, if you have a Genesis, like my point is, you can also buy
Mm.
that Sega collection, which does not have Aladdin, but it's got like 40 games on it for like 20-30 bucks.
Yeah, well, you could also buy the Aladdin one that's out now too, the Aladdin Lion King one.
Yeah, well, that's what
That
I'm saying. You could
yeah.
also buy 40 games for like less than that cost of two
Oh no
games.
no no no! What I'm trying to say is they released actual cartridges
No, I
of
know, I know,
Lion
no, I'm
King.
aware. That's what I'm comparing it to. Like, I know Limited Run is doing it, but like on regular retail, I've already seen it on store shelves, like Lion King and Aladdin, like on Switch or whatever, for like
Hmm.
$30. But like, you could buy the Sega collection for like also $30, and it has like a million games on it. Like, why
Yeah,
am I
yeah.
paying 30 for fucking two Disney games?
My point is that like they're re-releasing them for like Super Nintendo and Genesis, and like I could buy a real copy of it,
Yeah,
for way less. For way less.
yeah.
It's just kind of weird. But anyway, I think this is really neat, and if anybody wants to give me a Christmas gift this year, Tetris Effect. But anyway, that would be very generous. Actually, that would I would feel very uncomfortable receiving that. But anyway, so in the Hunt finally got released on Arcade Archives, and it's really fantastic. So I've been talking about this one for quite a bit. This is one of Irem's best arcade games, made by the Metal Slug team before they made Metal Slug. Definitely pick it up. It is really a lot of fun. I really enjoy this one. Yeah, you're a submarine in it, and you have two shooting buttons. One that shoots above and below you, and then one that shoots torpedoes ahead of you. And you can even attack things like in the air above you if you've breached the water, which is pretty neat. Love that game. It's really good. It's really challenging. Arcade Archives also recently released Yi Are Kung Fu, which is a Konami classic. Very difficult game, but it's a lot of fun. I definitely recommend that as well. Moving on to another high-profile item, Shenmue 3 is out. Did you get your copy?
Yeah, it feels weird that it exists.
Yeah. What did you get like a special edition like copy of it or anything like that?
I mean, I did, but I think the special stuff is going to ship later, like it did with Bloodstained. Like right now, I have the game and a slipcover.
Like, is it the same one that I'm holding up right now to you? This one I got off of Amazon.
The viewers love this part, but yeah, like the regular.
It's like a regular version that you can buy anywhere.
It's the regular version, but it comes with a slipcover. But like the whatever extras are gonna ship out later.
So here's the thing. I ordered this on Amazon because I saw that they had lowered their price just before release to $50 from $60, which is never a good sign, by the way. But that means a lot of people canceled their pre-orders. But
at the same time, though, like it's probably like Shenmue 1 and 2. A lot of people probably realized what Shenmue is, and
you should be knowing what you're buying. I mean, I've read the reviews, and they're all saying, well, it's like a third one of the first two games.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what I wanted, and that's what I expected, so I'm okay with it. But it's very old school feeling. It feels like the other two.
You know what amused me is I saw the trailer for the game, and number one, I didn't expect them to keep doing an English dub. Number two, the voice acting sounds like a little off, which is how it's always sounded, so that it actually pleases me. And number three, I think Ryo is still the same guy.
Oh, wow.
Like, if it's not him, then it's an incredible impression. I think it might be the same guy. But it was just so funny to hear, like, oh, Ryo-san, you've come. And, like, it's not very good, but, like, that's perfect. You know, it's like if Resident Evil 1's remake had, like, stupid voice acting. I would love that, even though people from the 2010s would be like, what is this shit?
So I thought I was getting a decent deal with it being like $10 off, but since I've ordered this, Amazon has lowered their price to $35, which is not a good sign.
The game's been out for like 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm returning it to Amazon and reordering it so I could get $15 off. Well, actually, what I'm going to do is Best Buy has it for $35 too, and they have a steelbook case. So I'm going to return my Amazon copy and get one
case. That's cool.
Yeah. No, I love steelbook cases. If I was a crazy person, more of a crazy person, I would collect steelbook case games. But I get them when I can.
by the way, I just want to point out like that this is just a limited run thing. But have you seen the steelbook case for Thumper?
No.
Look that shit up.
Oh man.
Like it won an award for steelbooks, which I didn't know existed. That steelbook case is fucking crazy.
Wow. Look this up. Wow, look at that.
Yeah.
It's like the bad guy. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's
that's
like
really neat
looking.
It's
fantastic.
That's a wonderful
last
game.
Boss is crazy.
That's a wonderful game. I need to play more of that.
Let me tell you. You obviously know, you're the one who introduced me to it, but man, that game is not easy.
I know it isn't. I was enjoying watching you play it because you're better at this type of game than I am.
Oh, are you talking about back at like MagFest or something?
No, back at my house. When
I gave it a shot at your place? Okay.
Yeah, back at my house.
I put the whole thing up on YouTube. Look at how fucking ridiculous that shit gets. It's insane.
It's very nice, especially the Switch version. That looks really cool.
That's another game, by the way, that's VR optional.
Yeah, it's really great. Shenmue 3. Apparently, like the big, there's some sorely missing some Sega games in it, but apparently there is a parody Virtual Fighter game in there.
No, I'm always okay with that. It's like Yakuza. They have their original stuff sometimes. Like in Judgment, they had Kamuro, because you're in Kamurocho, Kamuro of the Dead, which was not House of the Dead, except it was in like Yakuza Dead Souls universe. Like you were in shitty Kamurocho with Dead Souls enemies. I was like, this is amazing.
Well, this is like Virtual Fighter, but with chickens. It's pretty funny.
Is there like a stupid pun name for that?
Yeah, I forget what it is. It's like
Chicken Fighter.
Yeah, something like that.
All right.
But it's very much a a parody of that. It's like winking at you.
It's obviously a parody of Turkey Puncher 3000, whatever the hell it's called.
Alpha.
Whatever.
It comes before Turkey Puncture 1 and 2.
All right.
But Shenmue 3 is apparently just like the other one, so I'm very down for that.
The only thing I hope is that the controls have improved, because
they have.
Because, like, I mean, I love tank control games, but, like, turning around in Shenmue, like, if you're not already running, turning around is pretty rough.
It's a pain in the ass. But no, it has modern controls.
Oh, man. That's all I wanted. Well, actually, that's not true. I wanted it not to be a fucking waiting simulator, but Shenmue 2 looks like it's already fixing that.
Yeah, Shenmue 2 is a much better game than Shenmue 1 is.
Like I said last week, in Shenmue 2, I had to, like, get to a plot trigger, and then I did. And then after that, I was able to get to another plot trigger. What a concept, I know. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to playing that whenever I get to that. Like I said, I'm returning my copy, because I found a better deal. But I hope this means that they still continue on with the DLC, because apparently they're supposed to have a hefty amount of DLC with the game. So
I hope that in 14 years they'll make Shenmue 4.
I think this is it.
I don't know, man. Like, I haven't heard anything about the game, like the series ending.
Well, they have said that this is not the last one. So
yeah, like that. Like, get the fuck out, dude. Like you
had
this
your
is
chance.
Your chance.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like I said. It's just like you keep getting like another second chance to finish up X-Files, and you never do it.
Yeah, it's just like last week, yeah.
But anyway, moving on from that, so a highly anticipated, I guess retro-styled FPS was just released, Wrath Aeon of Ruin. Have you been following this at all?
Nope.
So this one is another title released by 3D Realms, who've kind of been knocking it out of the park with like retro-styled first-person shooters lately.
Yeah, Iron Maiden was like just killer.
Yeah. Apparently, it's really good, despite some of the controversy around it. But apparently, it's really, really good. I'm probably going to end up picking that up, eventually. But Wrath is apparently even better. But Ion Fury is made using the build engine, which is the Duke Nukem 3D engine.
Mm-hmm.
And Wrath, however, is made with the actual Quake 1 engine, I think.
Wow.
Or Quake 2. I think it's Quake 2. But yeah, apparently it's awesome and beautiful, and it's great. Everybody loves it. The kind of reviews that it's getting are like stellar. So people are really, really, really loving it. A couple of the YouTubers that I watch that are kind of hard to please when it comes to this kind of stuff, like they didn't like Sigil too much, but they love their classic Doom, of course. They love their
everybody
Quake
loves
2.
classic Doom.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say is they're old school purists. They didn't
Well,
like.
no, I mean, no, I've heard legitimate complaints about Sigil though.
Yeah. Well, I follow G-Man Lives on YouTube, and he's like a big first-person shooter guy, and he loves Wrath. He really, really loves it. So I am looking forward to this game even more than Ion Fury. So really cool looking. They've been kind of knocking it out of the park recently. There have been other titles that 3D Realms has put out that have just been really good. So probably the other ones that they've been releasing, like I think they released the newest version of Blood, which was pretty awesome. Let me see here. They made Raptor Call of the Shadows, of course.
Yes.
They are the old Apogee
I've ever owned and beaten.
they actually are the old Apogee team, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, Raptor was Apogee.
Well, 3D Realms is what Apogee
they evolved
turned
from Apogee,
into.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were most famous for making Duke Nukem under that
Give me
title
that
name.
Biomenace.
Well, they made Commander Keen. There's like a lot of like uh, incestuous history with them and id Software. A lot of those guys started off with Apogee and then moved to id Software. So and then some of the guys just stayed there and did their own thing. They did the build engine. So this is really cool. I'm really looking forward to these releases. I mean, there's been a lot of other really cool first person shooters lately anyway. There has been what have been some of the more recent ones? There's been Medieval, Dusk. Those are all really
Dusk
good.
is the main one that I was thinking of.
Yeah, Dusk is similar to this one. I think it's similar to it's 3D styled, and Medieval is similar to Hexen, I believe.
Okay.
So, and there's been Ziggurat. There's just been a lot of really cool, like, return to form kind of first-person shooter games lately. And this one apparently is like the one to rule them all. It's supposed to be really, really good. So I can't wait to play that. I have so many other things I'm playing right now, though, that I'll wait for it to come on sale. But it's apparently worth every penny even right now. So I'm excited for that. So moving on, let me see here. Oh, speaking of first-person shooters, Battleborn got a termination notice recently. So this is the Epic Games competitor to Overwatch that came out around the same time.
The only thing I've ever heard about Battleborn was at launch, like around the same time as Overwatch. Everyone liked Overwatch better, and that's the last I've heard of Battleborn.
Yeah, it's really kind of a shame because apparently Battleborn's pretty good.
Yeah, I heard it actually was quite good, but like it was
the wrong time. Yeah, it was the wrong time. It released at the same, like basically within a week of Overwatch, and Overwatch was a instant hit. So nobody had any time for it. So it never really got the traction that it deserved, and so they are officially shutting that down in 2021. So you still got some quite a bit of time to play it, but why if there's no community around it? This is a multiplayer.
It's another one of those
game.
Yeah.
So I recommend playing Apex Legends or Overwatch or Fortnite instead because they actually have a community that supports it. I'm sure there are some diehard Battleborn people that love it specifically, but I mean you're going to be sinking. If that's what you're in for, if you're in for like a scrappy experience of kind of holding up the walls while they're tumbling down. Some people really love doing that. Back when Star Wars Galaxies was closing and the Matrix Online were closing, people were holding up the walls on that. All these games have their fans, but if you're in it for that community, I'm sure that's really great. But if you want your skills to transfer and all that kind of stuff, play one of the more popular ones. I'm sure that's where the bread and butter is. Moving on from that, the Master Chief Collection is up for pre-order on Steam, which is pretty cool. Just even seeing it on Steam is kind of a novelty. So I kind of like that with some more first-person shooter news here. I have the Master Chief Collection for Xbox One, but this looks great. I mean, you can even buy individual games if you don't want to buy the $40 collection, which $40 for every Halo game.
That's a deal by itself.
Before Halo 4 and before is really, really good. But you could buy Halo Reach by itself if you want for $10, which is pretty cool. But if you pay for the whole thing, you get everything. You get Halo 1, Halo 2, and Halo 1 and Halo 2 are their anniversary counterparts, where you can seamlessly switch to like a newer rendered version and the original version. You can go back and forth, which is really neat. Halo 3, Halo 4, ODST, and Reach are all in this collection. These are all fantastic games.
But
They're
what about
really,
Halo
really good.
Wars?
Halo Wars is not in the collection, but I think that can be purchased on PC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, it is on Steam for $20 itself. So,
Oh, never mind.
but I don't think Halo Wars 2 is out. So, that's the one that you'll be trying to get on there. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the first two Halo games. I kind of fell off the series after that, but the amount of times that I played the original Halo with my friends, my senior year of high school was like huge. I used to go over to my friend's house with my CRT, my old CRT, all the time, so we could link our systems together and play 8-player death matches, and even a couple occasions we played 16-player ones. So lot of really, really great memories. I loved playing Halo 1, especially. So and Halo 2 is everybody should be thanking that game. That Halo 2 is the reason why we have online multiplayer action games for consoles. It really set the standard. So definitely a really cool experience, and the games are just fun, especially if with an easy way to play them multiplayer now online. The multiplayer communities for PC games last forever. So except for Battleborn, but but you could still find people playing the original Red Faction online somewhere. I've seen it. But it's really cool. Moving on from that, got a couple last minute bites here. I put this one in here for you, Lotus. One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 got a release date of March 27th, 2020.
Yeah, I saw that was up for pre-order on, maybe it was the Square Enix store or something. I forgot where.
It would be
Nisa. Maybe.
It would be
Namco Bandai. That would make
Namco
sense.
Bandai.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. I've played the first three. I'm excited to see what 4 does.
Now, I know sometimes with the Muso games, the next one will basically completely replace the ones before it. Mm-hmm. Is it like that with this series as well?
You could I mean, there are some different gameplay mechanics, but
I mean, storyline wise, you could play the old storylines.
You could argue that 3 replaced 1, but 2 was a unique experience.
Gotcha. Because I know that's the way with the Fist of the North Star games. Like the second one is just completely overwrites the first one.
The second one, with Fist of the North Star, the second one overwrites the first one, but the first one did have bonus what if levels. So
gotcha.
But the second one basically overwrites the first one.
Gotcha. Well, I'm looking forward to watching you play that, because that's definitely I like One Piece, but I'm not super as into it as you. But I do like watching other people play this type of game, so definitely like that.
There are a few Warriors games I still want to play. When I finally get a Switch, I look forward to playing Hyrule Warriors.
Oh yeah, Hyrule Warriors was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed what I played of that.
There's even the Warriors game on PS4.
Sure.
It includes what's his name, William from Neo. It's what?
Neat. All right, moving on from that, Ikaruga is getting a physical copy on PS4 and Switch, which I'm pretty excited about. I mean, I've seen Ikaruga get released on everything, but it's still nice to see that one of my favorite shmups of all time, and deservedly so, is getting physical copies on modern systems. It's just pretty neat. Moving on from that, there's been some rumors circulating around that Resident Evil 3 Nemesis is getting a remake next year. I expect that, actually. So
it's funny because on one hand, I've seen people say it seems a little quick, But on the other hand, they were
They
saying
did all the work
well,
already.
that's the thing. It's like maybe it'll be a reused asset game, just like the original Resident Evil 3 was.
Yeah, I mean, like, of course they're gonna have new environments and certain new bad guys, enemies and stuff. But like,
That's right. Resident Evil 2 did have some new stuff, like new enemies. I mean,
I mean, like, I actually wanted this game even more than the remake of 2 because, like, I can just imagine what kind of cool battles you could get into with the Nemesis. I mean,
yeah,
that'd be really cool.
I'm more excited about Nemesis than Mr. X, but I'm more excited about 2 than 3, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get see that. Two is one of the most iconic games in the
Yeah,
series,
and William
if not
Birkin's
the most.
evolutions were so good.
Yeah, I mean RE2 might just be the most popular, like in its like
Oh,
in
and
its
it's like
style.
yeah. I was gonna say
Yeah,
probably 4, but like that's a wholly different kind of game.
yeah. They should remake the first Resident Evil.
Oh, like RE2 remake style.
No, they should just remake it.
Yeah, they should put it on a 15-year-old game system.
Yeah, maybe the limited run games will print
Yeah, maybe they'll
copies of
release a
it.
remake of Resident Evil, like a brand new tiny GameCube disc.
Moving on from that, Alien Isolation is actually coming to Switch, which actually kind of surprised me. Considering the game is been out for quite some time now.
I mean,
It's come
welcome to Switch ports. Like 5 years later.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, but apparently in handheld mode, this one's not it's not as effective. I would actually want to play this just on PC or PS4
Yeah,
personally. But the Doom was apparently really great on Switch, and the Wolfenstein games were apparently really good on Switch. So the id games did really well, but this is a whole another ball game. This is a horror game.
I will say by the way that I played Alien Isolation on PS4 and I liked it just fine.
Yeah,
But PS4, Switch, you're probably better off with PC because
yeah,
even on PS4, those load times are pretty brutal.
yeah.
I mean,
For
like
any game,
once you're in a level, you're in. No loading ever. But when you have to change areas, it's like, oh
yeah.
man.
For any game like this, I play the PC version, and I'm never really disappointed. In fact, I'm kind of wondering whether I should get Shenmue 3 on PC, to be honest, because apparently, the other games with the other versions it kind of chugs, which I kind of expect
What, the PS4 you
Jake,
mean?
for Shenmue 3. Yeah.
Oh, for Shenmue 3. I was going to say,
Yeah.
because Shenmue 1 and 2 work fine on PS4, but, like, they're fucking also 15-year-old games. What would you expect?
I never expected this game to run well, so.
I never expected this game to play well. I do expect it to run well.
So moving on from that, I did talk about this a little some time ago, but Final Fight 3 is getting a mod. Final Fight is getting a 3-player mod where you can play as all 3 of the characters at once, which is really neat. ROM Hacker is working on this, and they said that they're going to have like an official release of the ROM hack on December 12th, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
just wanted to
that's
kind
one
of
of those
follow up.
games that, like, really should have been 3-player from the start. It's kind of like how Ninja Turtles in Time is a 4-player game, but on SNES it's only 2, and it's like, ah, come on.
Yeah, I wish somebody would hack the Super Nintendo version to add like 4-player support. That would be really neat. But moving on, just this last bit here, the Mister platform, which is a FPGA platform that I've been talking about for some time, is something that I'm very interested in. I really want to look into getting one at this point because there's some really good developments lately, but apparently they're adding Sega CD support to it, and somebody's working on PlayStation support. An FPGA PlayStation, which is insane. Like, and somebody's working on Neo Geo CD as well. They've already pretty much ironed out like Neo Geo arcade games. And there are new arcade games added to this all the time. And I guess I'll reiterate that FPGA systems are simulations of the original hardware specifications of all of these all of these different platforms and games. So they tend to play exactly like their counterparts. Like Lotus and I have Mega SG and Super NT, and you also have the what's the Nintendo one that you have?
Oh yeah, the AVS
You have the AVS, yeah.
instead of the NT Mini. Yeah.
Yeah, but all three of those platforms are fantastic, and they're extremely accurate to their original, platforms that they're simulating, down to the fact that they might be just even better because they don't have like any of the inherent like noise of, like electromagnetic noise of an old system.
Yeah, and not only that, but they also support Famicom games, which obviously the original NES does not do without extra hoops to jump through.
Yeah, and native HDMI.
Yes,
So
and upscaling as well.
yeah. So FPGA like platforms are going to be like the thing to beat, or the thing to have in order to simulate old systems. Like software emulation does have its place, and there's some really great software emulators out there. Like there's Hegon, which is the SNES one that has like some really cool features like HD, like Mode 7, like mods, and like native widescreen support and stuff like that, to added to games that never used to have it.
It's kind of funny because when I first saw the description of like the video, like Mode 7 in HD, I was like, what does that even mean, HD?
And then you looked at it.
Yeah, I was like, well, it's not high definition graphics, but like I completely understand what they mean.
Yeah, so I mean, Mode 7 was originally, basically they took a sprite and rotated it and zoomed in on it. And so therefore it got like real chunky once you like zoomed out really far or zoomed in really close.
Yeah,
so
it's just giant squares of pixels.
Yeah, and this emulator actually smooths everything out so it looks good and doesn't look like a bunch of blocks. And it still looks like a Super Nintendo game. Like they didn't make it like it still retains its style. Yeah, but it's still pixely. It's just a lot more pixels. If that makes sense.
It's very well done.
Yeah. They did. He did a really good job with that, but it still has the limitations of all software emulators in that there's some inherent lag to a lot of them. There's some I wouldn't say that probably about that one in particular, but most software emulators have some bits of inaccuracy that are impossible to get rid of. And FPGA systems just don't have that because they're simulating the actual chips. So I am really looking forward to this because I mean, as much as I love the old systems and the way they look and all that kind of stuff, I mean, they're inconvenient. And if I can find something that runs better and gives me the same or even better experience than the original platform, I'm sold.
Takes up less space, takes up fewer wires.
Yeah, I'm sold. Especially the PlayStation. We don't have a current system other than the Vita. Which you could barely call a current system that plays PlayStation 1 games. I can't think of anything that plays PlayStation 1 games unless they've been actually ported.
Yeah, that's the thing. Unless you count the PlayStation Store, then yeah.
Well, I mean, PlayStation 1 games are on PS3 and Vita, and that's it. And barely anybody has their PS3s still plugged in. I mean, we do, but
yeah, I was gonna say I've been playing Drakengard 3.
Yeah, we do, but let's face it, if you could do away with it, you would. So this is really cool that somebody's working on this, and getting CD systems even. I thought it was pretty impossible for them to get to the 32-bit systems, but somebody just put out a GBA core on it, for God's sakes. And I really want it for the arcade ones, because all we've ever had is software emulation of arcade.
You know how cool
boards.
it would be to play like at home proper arcade version of like,
Anything.
Revenge of Death Adder.
Oh yeah, I mean, we had a nice video on that, but it was through MAME.
It was through an emulator. It had to be, yeah.
It was a pain in the butt. I would love to have an arcade perfect rendition of this. Absolutely. I mean, they're working on Black Tiger, which is Capcom right now. Breakout. Let's see here.
The best game I think is, what was it called, like Revenge of Black Tiger or whatever, that piece of shit PS3 game. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, the AVGN one.
Yeah, that game that was a meme even before AVGN touched it.
Yeah. There's Capcom CPS1 arcade multi-core, which is really neat. So like any of the CPS1 games, like Street Fighter 2, and all of its like all the games that came out around it, like Final Fight and all that stuff. Cave Generation 1 arcade board, which is Donpachi and Dodonpachi. Food Fight, which is an awesome Atari game. Jackal, a great Konami arcade game. Somebody's working on a Jaguar one. I mean,
Nice.
And actual Jaguars are all failing right now. So I mean,
yeah,
like,
that's a really good thing to do. It would be
this is great.
It'd be great for like the Saturn as well, because Saturns are starting to die.
Well, not quite there yet, but PlayStation is getting close. So
yeah. By the way, one other thing I want to mention about Black Tiger is like Capcom loves to be referential. Like, you know how in Resident Evil 4, one of the guns you can get is called Killer 7?
Oh, yeah.
Named after the game of the same name.
Sure.
I didn't realize this was a reference for the longest time, but the spider boss in Resident Evil 1 is named Black Tiger.
Oh, wow.
And, like, it's black and it's kind of got stripes. So I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't realize that was a reference to an old Capcom game for years and years.
Yeah, it's a good game, too. I really enjoyed that. All right, well, I think that's all I have to talk about this time around. Anything else that you want to quickly mention before we wrap things up?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, well, that is our show for this week. Please remember to subscribe to the Corrective Consciousness YouTube and Soundcloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs ups, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. Helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Thursday for a sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. This week, we actually are going to go over some of our RPG favorites. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on Steam, PSN, Xbox Live, Twitter, and Switch.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, I'm currently going through The Cat Lady right now, and finally getting involved in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found at patreon.com/LotusPrince.
Okay, everybody, we'll see everybody on Thursday. Catch you then.
Until next time, everyone.
Bye-bye.